There we go. That better? I'm still working the kinks out of this stuff, so y'all have to forgive me. So anyway, hey, vintage tripwire Jeff 7. I see y'all are already here. Lake. I know you're in Norway. Where are you at, Jeff 7? Where are you from? I know Vintage and Tripwire are from Australia, so it's evening there. So good evening, Vintage and Tripwire. And it's raining here too, Trip. I don't know if y'all can hear it over the thing, but I can hear it outside. It's raining pretty good. Yeah, no, I changed my stuff around and I'm trying to get it set up, and I had while I was working on the thing, I had my mic turned off. That's all. I just had to turn it back on. Hope y'all can hear me now. Like the old what was that Verizon commercial? Can you hear me now? Well, hopefully that lets y'all know I'm human. Because I'm screwing up. Oh, okay. All right, Jeff. Cincy, huh? That's pretty good. How's the weather up there now? It's just hot and humid here in Florida. I mean, just insanely humid. Yeah, I don't know if y'all have been keeping track of my short videos on my actual job, but we set that trailer in there on that concrete wall we built, so now it's just like a little cave under there, and I've been spending a lot of time under there attaching the trailer to the actual wall, and it is just like a sauna in there. Oh, the audio is very quiet? Okay, let me see if I can do something about that. Give me a second here. Let me see if I can. Well, I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if I can change anything there. It's jacked all the way up. I'll have to work on that. The audio being quiet. I don't know why it is. That's something I'm gonna have to figure out. Hmm. That any better? Let me know if that's any louder. I can turn it up some more. If that worked, I can turn it up even more. And I appreciate y'all bearing with me during these difficulties I'm having. Oh, okay. Sounds okay on your end, Jeff? All right. Okay. All right, Trip. That's good to know. Yeah, just all these settings and this stuff, they make it complicated. It seems like they could just, change it even at your end. The software could just adjust for that stuff. But all right, cool. But yeah, I don't know if y'all remember that video I made about the boomers. Just have the boomers been the problem the whole time? I'll be surprised how many boomers got in there and got upset, at my video. And in the video, I said several times, I'm not talking about every boomer. I know a lot of good boomers. I'm not talking about every boomer. I'm talking about the ones who are out there firebombing Tesla dealerships and vandalizing people's personal property and shit. You know what I mean? but a lot of them still got in there and got upset. So I just have to assume you're vandalizing your neighbor's Tesla if you're getting upset over what I said. I'm talking about the idiots in your generation, not the normal people. But so yeah, and I get a lot of that. You'd be surprised how many people get upset just over the title of my videos. So I'll put a title up there, like asking a question sometimes or something, or just trying to give you. I'm limited. I can't, write a whole paragraph on the thumbnail and detail everything. So I've got to try to condense the entire video down to like 5 words, and it's not easy all the time. I mean, it's not hard, but it's not. I don't get it right all the time. So, but people will go off that title and just get all upset and rail in the comments and didn't even watch the video, just went off the title, and I'm like, okay, I can tell by what you're saying you didn't even watch the video. So, what do you want me to say? You didn't watch the video. You don't know what I talked about. You're pissed off about something I didn't even mention. Yeah. Yeah, true, Tripwire. Yeah, they upset us first. Yeah, that's true. So, and if you get in there and you criticize anybody, and y'all know I criticize Gen X too. I've made videos, are Gen X the worst parents in the world? Because it seems like everybody thinks we are because Gen Z and the kids nowadays are so crazy. But I just think that has more to do with society at large, the internet and all this other bullshit being inflicted on them. And you can't protect them from all that shit, I mean, not every Gen Xer can take their kids out in the woods and protect them from all this crazy shit 24/7, So I don't know. I think we bear some responsibility, but I don't think it's just Gen Z is screwed up. Number one, people think that we gave birth to Gen Z, or some people think we gave birth to millennials. Like every single millennial has Gen X parents, and every single Gen Z has Gen X parents, and and they're both. People believe both of those things, and it's just not true. It's a mixture of things, Hell, even some Gen Z actually have some boomer parents. And look at that kid, Donald Trump's son. He just graduated high school a year or two ago. His dad's is Trump a boomer? I think Trump's a boomer, and he's got Gen Z kids. So, it's a mixture of all kinds of shit. But a lot of people want to blame Gen X because millennials are screwed up, or blame Gen X because Gen Z is screwed up. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a weird thing there, and it's all about where you want to fall on that thing. You got to blame somebody. If you're mad at Gen Z, then you blame Gen X. If you're mad at millennials, then you blame Gen X. That kind of shit. Tough snizzo. Yeah, that's a good smart thing there. You just said tough. Yeah, the kids have lost their wonder about this world and wanting to just know things but understand them. Yeah, and that goes right to the internet. That's the internet is responsible for that shit. I've said it many times. Kids aren't creative anymore because everything is already created for them. It's all on the internet. If you play a game, all the creation's already done. You're just running around shooting people or whatever. All the creation is done. Everything. We don't foster and nurture creativity and wonder anymore. Curiosity. We don't do that anymore. We just hand everything to them and let them run around and teabag people and shit. It's just the whole internet. This whole thing just didn't turn out the way I remember when it first came out, the internet, and it was slow, and you had to be and all that shit. You had to wait for the dial-up and all that, and it seemed really wonderful. The internet was full of possibilities back then. It was just going to be this wonderful, magnificent thing, and it has turned into a shithole. It's just a shithole of porn and teabagging and, you know, keyboard warriors, lies, just advertisements. The internet is a shithole. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how else to say it. It's disgusting, and the world would be better off if they would just delete that bitch. The round light on my glasses is mesmerizing. All right, vintage. I don't know if I can get a different pair of glasses that doesn't do that. But I need the lights. If I don't have the right lights, then it looks really weird. It just looks crappy. I mean, I don't have real expensive lights. I just got some cheap ones, but I mean, without them, it's really weird. It's the image is bad. So I got these circular lights, and it turns out better. I'm not all whitewashed and stuff. My face looks all crazy and weird. The song, which song? Tough. Yeah, yeah, tough. I'm the same way. I've got nephews who been and all. I've got nephews from my brother and my sister, and they're all good people. I mean, I pick on them, you know, because the whole Gen Z, and I think a couple of them are millennials. Maybe my niece, I forget if she's a millennial or a Gen Z. I think she's Gen Z too, though. But they're all good people. I mean, just salt of the earth people. Some of the best people you'll ever meet. But they're young, you know. And so I pick on them. I pick on them about being Gen Z or whatever, being kids and, you know, doing kid stuff. And yeah, but they're good. So I can't just knowing that, you know, how good my nieces and nephews are and how well they were raised and what good people they are. I can't put a blanket on Gen Z or millennials and say they're all, you know, lunatics, because I know they're not. From my own personal experience, I know there's some really good people out there. But even when I say that in my videos, people still get mad. Oh, you know. So when they get mad, obviously you're one of the lunatics. That's what you're telling me. You're one of the lunatics. You're doing all the crazy shit I'm talking about. You're not one of the good ones. Oh, all right, Vintage. So it's not mesmerizing in a bad way. All right. Yeah, yeah, Trip. That would be an apocalypse if the internet shut down. Yeah, yeah, that'd be just a different kind of apocalypse. People, I don't know what. I mean, people might go crazy just if they shut the internet down. It'd be weird, that's for sure. That people are so dependent on it now, and that's the thing I think is that we see different from a lot of the other generations is that we see the internet as a tool. We're not addicted to it, you know? I mean, just like my normal day, I'll go to work and I won't look at my phone. I'll take a break and check my phone to see if any of y'all have made a comment, you know, and if I can answer it real quick. That way I don't like to let them build up or whatever. But I don't stay on my phone all day. I don't think about my phone. You know what I mean? And when I was working for another company in the past, I was a foreman or whatever, and I had people under me, and the young kids, they would just stay on. I'd look over, and they're supposed to be working, and the kid would be on his phone, you know, sitting down there on his knees by the cabinet. He's supposed to be, you know, installing a door or something, and he's on his phone. And I'm not talking about, you know, once or twice. I'm talking about all day long. Every time I looked over there, he'd be on his phone, and I'd have to say something to him. Dude, get off your phone, man. You know, we got work to do. And this was every day for a couple of weeks. And I got, you know, more and more stern, and finally, you know, had to get rid of the guy. But that's just one example, um, where they feel like that's a life necessity, where we view it as a tool. You know, it's just a tool. I use it when I need to, and when I don't need it, then I set my damn phone down. So there's a distinction there. They feel like they need that shit, you know, like air or water. They can't get along without it. Jeff 7, you don't need lights to make you look crazy and weird. No, me neither. But I don't need them to make me look crazier and weirder. That's for damn sure. I try to look as presentable as possible. I just looking my best. I give people enough enough fodder to hack on me with, that at my very best. So I sure as hell don't need to have anything making me look worse. Oh, okay, Mike and the Mechanics. All right, tough. The Living Years, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I keep hearing that kids, once kids get introduced to that old school shit, that they really, they really like it. They even a lot of times they'll stumble across it and they won't even know it's old. It's just good, you know, better than anything they've ever heard or done before. And oh, this is awesome. And I've actually heard from parents who come and their kids will bring them, oh, look at this band I found. And it'd be The Cure or something, and the kid will be like, you probably never heard of it before, but check this band out. That's The Cure. That's just been around forever. You know what I mean? That's not new. You're not finding new shit. You're finding good shit from back in the day. Yeah, yeah. We grew up hating that shit. That's right, tough. Yeah, a Warren Johnson. Yeah, there are. I mean, there are some, but there are messed up people in every generation. Uh, as an older millennial, I've met some awful millennials, mostly due to their need for acceptance at any cost. It's bizarre. Yeah. Now, some of those generational traits run through an entire generation. You can't deny it. I mean, I didn't realize that really until I started this channel. And I started this channel and I was just, talking and doing whatever. But then I started seeing, y'all show up and say, hey, yeah, we're the same way. And it dawned on me that, hell, there are a lot of traits that run completely through Gen X. And that's cool in a lot of ways, because the good traits do. But our bad traits do too sometimes. And that might be one of them. You have your outliers. We've got Gen Xers who were wearing three masks and trusting the science, and they just all for corporate greed and whatever. And that's going to happen. But mostly Gen X is skeptical, and we don't trust authority. That's one of our traits. We question that shit. And but yeah, there's always exceptions to the rule, but a lot of that stuff does run through generations, and it's sometimes in a bad way, like that. A lot of millennials, for some reason, they want to be accepted, and they go to strange lengths to be accepted, and where Gen X is kind of the opposite. We for some reason we try to be outside of any circle. We want to be lone wolves, and you know and just kind of shun that bullshit societal norms and circles and acceptance and all that shit. And that seems to be a Gen X trait. So, having said that, yeah, there are a lot of things that run completely through each generation, and good and bad. They're so expensive, tough. Oh, games or computers, tough. I just saw, damn, have you ever heard of the AMD Threadripper? That damn computer CPU. That Threadripper's like 10 grand, just the CPU. I looked at that and I was like, holy shit. that's insane. How the hell can a little piece of, silicon like that be $10,000? You talking to me, Trip? You have a best? You have a best J? I'm not sure what that means, Trip. Oh, yeah, tough. Yeah. When people started reading books, they'd be on the trains reading books instead of speaking to each other. Yeah. Yeah, all technology does that. The more you advance technology, the more that shit separates people and gets people, focused on the technology. It's convenient. It's a convenient way to learn, right? And then when you read a book, you're not just hearing hearsay and spreading rumors and shit from somebody else that just told you something, right? You can all read the same book and then discuss it. That's part of it. But now we've gone past that to the internet, and we're back to the hearsay thing, where we're just hearing shit and somebody else said. We're just, and repeating that stuff and coming up with all this bullshit. But we're back to kind of the pre-book era. This internet has taken us back to that, where we're not, we don't have one source of information. It's just all over the place, which is kind of weird if you think about it. Stephanie, good to see you here, Stephanie. Yeah. Yeah, tough. Yeah, a lot of that generational stuff is just uh, bullshit. I mean, there's a lot of truth to it. Some of the things that run through our generations, but all this generational bullshit, I think that's just kind of another way to separate people. I hear a lot of boomers and a lot of millennials say that, hey, I'm not, I don't really identify with boomers. I grew up with y'all. And then same thing with millennials, I identify with 80 shit and all this. And that's, I believe really that the Gen X thing or the boomer thing, whatever, the generational thing is a mindset, right? Some egghead up in an office somewhere or a cubicle or something put some dates down and called us Gen X, okay? But Gen X is more of a mindset. Doesn't matter when you were born. It really doesn't. Because some dude, or some chick put some dates down on a calendar, so everybody else is out of our group. I don't get into that shit. If you were born in 1960 and you grew up, you liked hair metal and shit and felt the same way about authority and you never fell in with the boomer shit, then you're Gen X. In the same way with older millennials. Not only that, they only gave Gen X 15 years, So they kind of, if it leaked over a little bit, all of those people that are Gen X have that Gen X mentality. They're Gen X in my book. I don't really, and like that's a Gen X thing. I don't I don't follow their rules. I don't give a shit what they said. If you believe what we believe and you feel how we feel, you're Gen X. Screw that calendar. That's just the way I feel. Joe P. What's up, Joe P? Good morning, buddy. Yeah, the old gaming days, Warren. Yeah, I miss those too. The original gaming days when you had the hard, what was it, 3.5 inch floppy, and you had to change 10 of them, and there was more effort into playing our games, and it was cool. Oh yeah, Stephanie. That we and I about the media broadcasting and trusting them and shit. I never really have. Okay, not that not that I consciously thought about it. I would just see my parents sitting there watching that shit, and like that video I made about why Gen X doesn't care. I watched that shit about the nuclear holocaust, and then the coming ice age, and then the coming killer bees, and then the coming all these apocalypses that they warned us about, the ozone layer and all this shit, and the life was going to end as we know it, and none of it happened. All right, none of it happened. I'm here I am. So everything they said back then was lies. But I'd see this stuff as I was growing up, and my parents glued to the news and shit, and it didn't interest me. But in the last 20 years or whatever, I've actually paid attention a little bit to it. And really, what really woke me up to it was when Donald Trump ran the first time, and just the blatant lies. I was like, hold it, that's just a lie. Just happened to be watching that when he said that, and he didn't say it. That's not what he said. They lied. They're lying, So that was just a blatant slap in the face with their hypocrisy and their lies. But yeah, that whole thing. And then I get another thing in the comments a lot from people. I don't know if they're Gen Xers. I don't ask their age. But they say that, humanity came together and fixed the ozone layer. That's why that didn't happen. You're full of shit. Oh, humanity came together and averted Y2K. That's why that didn't happen. You're full of shit. And I never said that that's why it didn't happen. What averted the apocalypse has no bearing on it. My point was that the media said there was going to be an apocalypse. Why there wasn't an apocalypse does not matter at all. The media said there was going to be, and there wasn't. I don't care if Zeus zapped down to Earth on a thunderbolt and fixed the shit himself. I don't care. That doesn't matter. But the media said it was going to happen, so they lied. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm coming from there. It's just they're full of shit. They're liars, and they've been lying to us for decades. And anybody who is still asleep to that in this day and age, you're just willfully ignorant. You're turning a blind eye to the facts, to the facts that they're misrepresenting the facts, that they're just liars. Yeah, yeah, Trip. Yeah, there's either no news or everything is news, not much newsworthy. Yeah, and that's the thing where they have to sensationalize shit to get views, to get your attention, to get a reason to be on the air. They have to lie and make shit up sometimes, or to boost the ratings and all that shit. So it's just a business model. They're just trying to make money, just like every other corporation that's ever screwed over the common people. They're just trying to make money. Yeah, like when the game was pinball or pool, not a screen, or our board games, Monopoly, and even Dungeons and Dragons. I used to be a big Dungeons and Dragons fan, but yeah, those kind of games were much more enjoyable to me anyway. I had a lot of fun with those when I was a kid. Like I said before, me and my buddy, we'd throw our controllers down and go outside. We wouldn't be glued to even when we did play a video game, it's just for a while. It wasn't all day or for many, many hours. We spent most of our time outside. Yeah, yeah, tough. We didn't start the fire. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Monkey Island, Joe P. 18 floppy disks. Yeah, that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. Those are the good old games there. When they couldn't rely on just the newest, shiniest, highest pixel graphics and shaders and anti-aliasing and all this shit. They actually had to make a game that was fun to play. That the whole point of the game wasn't to murder everybody and teabag everybody. It was to get involved in the story and try to progress through the story and stuff. That that was the height of gaming, in my opinion. When they were still making good games and the graphics sucked, because graphics now everybody's just hyper focused on graphics. I don't know how that changed and how that went down that way. It could have easily gone the other way and been more immersive and entertaining and all this stuff, but it just went in a shitty direction. It just became more volatile and but looked really good, but just shitty. It's really good looking shit is what we have now. I'm just not a big fan of it anymore. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, tough. You still play those games? Yeah. Have you ever played what was it? Quest for Glory? Yeah, that was one of my favorites back then. I played the hell out of that one. Yeah, darts too, vintage. Yeah, I remember playing darts. You could spend hours sitting there just hanging out with your buddies and talking and throwing darts and your 18-year-old found some pool sticks in the garage, huh, Stephanie? Had went out and played a real game with real people in public. Yeah, that's a whole different experience. It's amazing. It's mind blowing that these kids don't get those experiences, that they don't understand. And they're like, the internet is a prison for your mind. What you once you're in it, you don't realize how great everything is outside. So you think you're just looking for more better stuff inside the prison, right? More diverting ways to interesting ways to teabag your enemies and all that stuff. So you're trapped in here and you don't realize how great it is on the outside. And that's a real thing, I believe. I believe the internet is a prison for your mind. And once you all out go in there voluntarily, then it's hard to get out. Yeah, tough. The media has to compete with internet blogs and stuff. Yeah, yeah, you're right. And there are a lot of people now. Back then there weren't any hardly, but there are a lot of people now on the internet who are popping up and calling bullshit on the media, right? Tucker Carlson, all these different guys. They're like Candace Owens. Hey, you're lying. This is what happened. This is what This is the real deal. So yeah, we have a lot of people jumping up, and that's one good thing about the internet. I mean, the internet isn't just completely bad. It's a tool, and but there are some good things about it. Metal Gear Punisher, good to see you here, buddy. Glad you could make it, man. Oh, okay, tough. I'm gonna have to check that out. Damn, I don't have my pen with me. Sierra, but I know Sierra. I just have to remember. I know that name. I'm gonna check that out though, tough. Yeah, yeah, Trip games that actually thanked you for playing. Yeah, yeah, that was awesome. Miss Pac-Man, the first transgender game. Yeah, that's quite possible there. Yeah, I remember those days. It seemed like everything was really colorful back then. The cereal boxes and the cartoons, and the video games, everything was really brightly colored, and back then. And now when I look around, it seems like everything's more subdued. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way. Maybe it's me, you know. But it seems like I remember Mrs. Pac-Man and Pac-Man with the big yellow, body, and she had the ribbon in her on her head or whatever. Well, she's just a head, so. But all that stuff was just really vibrant and brightly colored back then, it seems like to me. And today seems like everything's subdued. I don't know. Maybe, maybe it's a trick of my mind. I don't know. Just seems that way to me. Yeah. Yeah. Warren. Yeah, how ridiculous it would for the world to run out of drinking water in 5 years. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That kind of shit. There's going to be a water shortage, and I remember thinking that too. I was like, well, don't we have oceans? There's oceans of water. Can they just, get the salt out of it or whatever? We've got the water's falling out of the sky all the time. So yeah. Hey, vintage, thanks, man. That's pretty cool. Oh, they put it up there, huh? All right. I haven't checked to let you know. I've been working, man. I do have today off though, so I'm gonna iron out some of the kinks of my live stream some more, because I had a couple days off a few days ago. Actually, we're in the middle of moving and setting the trailer in there. I had to attach the trailer to the wall, and now we're ordering materials, so we're kind of in a weird spot there where I have a few days off this week, which is uh, I'm looking forward to the days. I enjoyed my last few days off. I did some stuff to my channel. As you can see, the graphics are different and stuff. I did some stuff I thought was cool. Hopefully y'all think it's cool too. But yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Jackass darts before Jackass was the thing. Remember lawn darts? Tough. Yeah, those lawn darts. Those things were brutal. I think they were outlawed, rightly so, but they were fun. Those lawn darts were treacherous. But me and my brothers and sisters, we go out and play badminton and lawn darts, and we even played what's that, croquet? Is that what that's called? With the big balls and you hit it with the thing. We had those games, all kinds of stuff. Games outside, you know. Uh, yeah, we had so much fun back then, and to me, it was a lot better than this shit now. I wouldn't trade growing up with my brothers and sisters for this age of growing up on the internet. I wouldn't trade that shit for the world. There's no way. There's no way. I wouldn't want to grow up in this day and age. Yeah, true, Stephanie. Yeah, the internet is a double-sided blade. We People are on it too often, but without it, we wouldn't have this group. So yes, you're absolutely true. You're absolutely right. Rather, yeah, we wouldn't have this kind of stuff. We wouldn't, without the internet, I wouldn't know that people in Australia considered themselves Gen X, or people in Norway, or that's just awesome to me. I know I've said it many times, but that was just a really eye-opening thing when I started this channel, and I started to learn that from people like Vintage and Lek and Tripwire. I found this stuff out that they're Gen X over there. That was so cool when I found that out. Like hell, it was just awesome. But I wouldn't know that if I hadn't started this channel without internet. The internet's a great thing, in itself, in its pure form. If people walked away from it and just and just left it alone, it'd be awesome. It'd be perfect. But people get on there and put their shit on there and just screw it all up. But we screw everything up. I'm talking about humanity at large. We screw everything up. Religion, politics, everything. We'll screw it up. Give us a chance. We'll find a way to ruin it. Yeah, tough. The Demolition Man game has Stallone calling you a loser when you die. Yeah. Insert coin was a message and pixels were the thing. Yeah. You remember that Gorks or something? I can't remember the name of it. I can just remember playing the game, and when you died, it said "Bite the dust, Space Cadet." In that robot voice, I would get so mad. You know, I'm like 9, 10 years old. I would get so mad at that damn game because it told me "Bite the dust, Space Cadet" because I got blown up. You know, I think it starts with a G, Gorks or something like that. It's got a weird name, but yeah, I used to love that game, but I hated it at the same time. It was one of those games that was in a gas station because I didn't get to go to the mall or the arcade a lot, but some gas stations had a game in there, you know, and I'd go there and I'd put my quarter in, and when you save up for, you know, and have 1 quarter and you go to the gas station and play it, and it, you know, and you're done in a minute and a half, that shit'll make you mad. But I look back on those times with fondness now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tough. We used to have to, you know, walk across the field, jump 3 barbed wire fences, wade across the stream to go, you know, look at a Playboy magazine your buddy had found in a ditch, and it was rained on, and the images were blurry and shit. You know, that was our porn back in the day. Yeah. Now it's just so. I mean, it's everywhere. You can't. It's everywhere now. Oh, okay, vintage. I wasn't either. You weren't expecting it to be shown me neither, but it's cool. Thank you. Thanks again. I appreciate it. Yeah, hiding those magazines. Yeah, Trip. Those were the good old days. Yeah, and it seems like moms could sniff those damn things out. Yeah, yeah, we played croquet a lot, vintage. AF 1892. Good to see you. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we got an early bird special on Saturday mornings. Yeah. We're except for vintage and trip there. It's evening over there where they are. Yeah. 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 Tough. We had all the we did have all the cool shit. It's just that people are stuck online now and they don't realize it. Oh, tough. You're on Australia? Oh, okay, cool. Got another Aussie in the house. Joe P. Oh, you're Joe P is from the UK. All right, that's cool as shit. Yeah, tough. Yeah, we'd go buy those games. What little pocket money we had back then. Zoom meetings AF. Yeah, those. I've never done a Zoom meeting with anyone, to be honest. This is really my first time. Well, I've been doing it for a while now, but this is my first time being in front of a camera like this. I don't really talk to people like this except for y'all. Yeah, yeah. Warren, Dragon's Lair. That was another game like that. Except it was, what was it? It was an expensive game though. That bitch was like 50 or 75 cents or something, maybe even a dollar. It was expensive as hell, and you get killed quick. Yeah, that oh man, that game used to make me mad too. But I would hardly ever play it because it was so expensive. You know, you could play another game for a lot longer. You know, 3 or 4 times. You'd have 3 or 4 chances to play a 1 quarter game instead of playing Dragon Slayer. But Dragon Slayer was so amazing, just the visuals and the way it played. Yeah, Oh shit! Yeah, AF. You moved to a new house and found what porn tape, sex busters. Yeah, your minds were blown. Yeah, that would blow your mind back then. Now that would be soft shit. It wouldn't even phase kids nowadays. I wonder how that's gonna play out in their lives. Growing up with exposure to all this weird shit. Yeah, stickball, Metal Gear. Yeah, we play so much stuff, so many games. I used to love the summer. Ghostbuster song. Yeah, yeah. But I remember that. Remember just waiting for the summer, that anticipation, the last day of school, and then it seemed like the summer would flash by in an instant. The first month of summer was just amazing. And that was the best time because there was so much time ahead of you. It seemed like it was going to last forever, right? Summer was just eternal. 2 3 months in the future, not until September. Then have to go back to school till September, and then you wake up the next morning and it's September. You're like, holy shit! Yeah, vintage Dragon Slayer was an eye opener. You're right about that. Superstar Wrestling Tough. I never played that one. That's one I've never played. AF 1892. Oh, okay. You're. Oh, I didn't realize it either. Laser discs burn out too fast. I don't know. I never messed with laser discs. I missed that whole thing. Oh, pinball. Yeah, pinball was another one, Stephanie. That was another uh, great game we got to play. Yeah, I loved pinball. And some of those dudes, they could like shake the whole machine. You know what I mean? And some of those guys were awesome at pinball. I never did. I never did have enough money to, for those paid games to go in there with like $10 worth of quarters and devote hours of time to get really good at any of that kind of stuff. But I sit there and watch dudes, and some of those guys were just great. And then foosball too. Remember foosball? That shit was awesome too. Some of those guys could rack, and they'd spin the thing like and crack the ball. It sounded like it was gonna blow through the side of the cabinet. Yeah, some of those guys were just amazing at those games. Yeah. Oh, the only in the last 10 years after you burn them, I was trying to find. Oh, okay. I don't. Yeah, some of that stuff's hard to find. AF. Yeah, Stephanie, their summer breaks are shorter now, and I know down here it got messed up in Florida because of the hurricanes, right? They started giving hurricane days and stuff, and so I don't know, they would shorten it, and the school would extend its time or something. I'm not really sure how it went, but yeah, school, the summer break is definitely shorter now. I mean, we get off at the end of May and go back on Labor Day in September. After Labor Day rather. So I remember that, but yeah, they're much shorter now. I'm not sure what the days are now. Probably varies by state or county, but yeah, I think across the board they're a lot shorter. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of how I grew up. Tough, just in a different part of the world. Yeah, but I grew up in the sticks mostly. They moved around a whole lot. I spent some time living in town as a kid with cable TV and riding bikes and stuff, but most of the time it's just out in the woods. Yeah, shaking without tilting. Yeah, Metal Gear. Yeah. Oh, yeah, tough for your man shed, an old school pinball machine. Yeah. Were you good at it when you were younger? Were you one of those dudes I was talking about who could rock that bitch? I never did. I just never did get really awesome at it. But I was. I remember being fascinated watching them older kids play that stuff when I was younger. Only an Aussie would call it a cubby. Vintage. Oh, okay, Trip. That's a trip. I thought you were talking about a small animal. That's a tree house in Australia. It's a tree house, everybody. That's a cubby. All right. It's cool how our language, how our slang varies from generation to generation, but from country to country as well. That's just learning new shit is cool. Yeah, we made a lot of cubbies when we were kids. Out of sometimes out of snow during the winter. We make not a tree fort, but a snow fort. Me and my brother used to make those. Yeah, when it snowed when I was up north in Washington. Yeah, yeah, we didn't have great tools and materials back then, so a lot of our tree houses and our forts caved in, especially when we were at school. We'd build them over the summer, and then they'd go abandoned during the school year a lot of times. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, Stephanie. June 5th, kids get off now, and June 5th and go back August 20th. That's a shame. They should have longer summers, in my opinion, because that those summers are so. Uh, well, I don't nowadays. I was thinking about it, all the fun we used to have during the summer and stuff, Stephanie. But nowadays, I mean, they just come home and sit in their room and sit online. Most kids, anyway. You know what I mean? So what's the difference? You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're outside playing. They got a lot of freedom and shit during the summer. They just come home and do the same thing. So I guess it doesn't matter as much. They're probably sitting in their classroom doing the same shit on their phone that they do at home. So I don't know. It's weird. Astrology, tough. Yeah. I've never really dug into astrology and really uh, dug into its history or any of its real meanings or anything like that. Uh, don't know why. It is kind of interesting. I just haven't. There's just been other stuff that I got off into, other weird stuff. Yeah, yeah. Forts. We call them forts. Tree forts, snow forts. Yeah, we call them forts. Oh, your younger sister had her bike stolen. Yeah, that was a thing back in the day. You had to worry about your bike, and you really had to worry about it if you didn't have an older brother to go get it back for you. Yeah, yeah, tough. Get out of the house and don't come back till dinner time. Yeah, can you that would never happen today. My dad, I never got $30. That would just be a I don't know, a windfall. I don't know what I would have done with $30 back then. I mean, I was lucky to scrape together 25 cents for a video game. But my dad would just kick me out of the house and told me not to come back, you know, until dinner time without the $30. I just have to go play in the dirt, me and my brother. Oh, yeah, throw rocks from your two-story fort. Yeah. About the finders? No, I don't think so. I don't think I have looked into that yet. Damn it, and I don't have it. Can you email me that, Warren? I hate to ask you to do that, but would you? So I can't forget. It's genexthinks@gmail.com. I want to look into that. I just I don't remember it. I just, working and all that stuff, but I've got a couple days off now, so email me that and I will look into that. But yeah, a lot of that shit goes on. There's so much of that stuff that goes on that people wouldn't believe it. People don't believe it. There's so much of that bullshit that goes on that people just don't believe it. They think it's conspiracy theories and all this other stuff, you know what I mean? And it's crazy when you do look into it and find the evidence for all that shit that goes on. Oh yeah, we make all kinds of stuff back then. Tough. Me and my brother, we'd make our own bows and arrows. I mean, they were crappy and they didn't work very good, but we would. Water balloons, holy shit, we try to make launchers with water balloons, 4 water balloons, and let's see, rubber band guns. The rubber band guns, I remember spending many hours trying to perfect the rubber band gun. Just all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, Stephanie, that's another thing that blows people's minds now too, that we were allowed to carry 22s around with us. Yeah, yeah, yeah. AF roasted deep tan doing flops off the or flips off the diving board. Yep. Yeah, tough. All of them are coming true. The conspiracy theories, all this stuff is just, and once you realize some basic facts, then the pieces start falling together, start falling in line. The puzzle starts coming into focus, right? When we realize the one basic fact that over here in the United States, and I'm sure I haven't done the research. I need to do the research, but I'm sure that it's true in every country, probably around the world, but definitely in Western civilization, that our national bank is not a national bank. It's a privately owned bank. That's when you first realize that, you're like, holy shit. So some private citizen or group is lending our country money. So, who is this group? And then you take it a step further, and you're like, okay, the Federal Reserve. Oh, that's the Rockefellers and and these big names back in the early 1900s, that big rich J.P. Morgan and them. Okay, then you take it a step further, but then you realize that Australia it has a bank like that too, and Norway and England and all the. So each one of these are just branches of a bigger central bank, okay, that is actually pulling the strings around the world. And once you realize that, then all this shit starts coming into focus. You're like, oh, okay, now somebody is pulling strings, because it's about money. If I go to work and my boss tells me, hey, move that piece of wood over there, and I move another piece of wood over here instead, then he's going to fire me or she's going to fire me, right? It's the same thing. You either do what you're told, or you don't get money. You don't get paid anymore. You don't have a job. So these banks that are paying everybody, they're the ones who are calling the shots. It just makes sense. And when it makes sense, it's probably true, because the shit that doesn't make sense is what, that's the stuff that maybe we can call conspiracy theories, But for the person with the money who's paying everybody to say that they're the one who's calling the shots, not the person, getting paid, but that just makes sense. That's true. I mean, I don't even have to do a deep dive and sit there and vanish into my den and do some deep contemplation to figure that shit out. It's just obvious. It's true. The person with the money's calling the shots. So yeah, and once you start figuring that stuff out, and you figure out that all these big investment corporations, they own the vast majority of the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry both. Okay, the food and the pharmaceutical industry, they both are owned by the same people. So you follow that up top. Well, what are they gonna make the food industry help the pharmaceutical industry by making people sick so they make more money? Well, that's not a far leap of the imagination for me. That's just common sense. Yeah, they want to make more money. So, if they put some shit in the food to get you addicted, to get you sick and get you addicted to a drug, that just makes sense to me. So yeah, it's crazy once you start going down that, and you don't have to go reaching out and inventing shit out, inventing space aliens and all this shit. All you have to do is look at what's happening and what is actually happening on the planet today. Yeah, bank education. Some of y'all have heard that a few times, I reckon. Oh yeah, Stephanie. Not only is it private, but yeah, there's no reserve anymore. There's no gold in reserve anymore. Yeah, it's just a complete joke. It's just a complete smokescreen. Yeah, tough. It's not about money. It's all about control. That they just have us tricked into thinking that control is money, or money is control, and we chase it, whatever, and it's a carrot. And they've got us tricked into that. So we talk about money just because that's how we talk, but it's not about money at all. Yeah, it's about control. Oh yeah, Stephanie. Oh, LJ, yeah. Gold standard disappeared in the 50s, yeah. Yeah, tough. They want you depressed and desperate. Yeah, exactly. And if you think about it, a happy, well put together person who goes to work and comes home and enjoys their kids and that kind of stuff, takes their kids outside and plays out in the yard and stuff, they're not making money for a company by doing that. They're not. Those companies want you depressed. They want you sitting on your couch. Number one, the pharmaceutical industry wants you depressed, so you're on a medication. All right, they want you on some kind of lifelong prescription to battle your depression. And Amazon wants you depressed, so you'll sit down on the couch and try to fill that hole inside you with brown Amazon boxes, right? I mean, depressed people they'll binge shop and binge eat and binge, whatever. They got to keep their mind occupied and try to focus off of how shitty their lives are by buying a bunch of Chinese shit off Amazon, right? That's what depressed people do. What else do depressed people do? They probably drink their asses off. So Anheuser-Busch and all these other companies, they want you depressed. And the list goes on. Now, a regular happy A well-adjusted person doesn't do that stuff. They might sit down and just watch a movie with the family and pop some popcorn and enjoy, set their phones down and ignore that shit. They won't get 400 advertisements flicked in their face and while they're shopping and doing all this shit while they're pounding their eighth Bud Light and you know what I'm saying? So depressed people make money for companies. Well-adjusted people do not. Happy, content, well-adjusted people do not make companies a lot of money. So they want you depressed. They want you to think your life is shit and there's no way out. So you will turn to them. If you think your life is shit and there's no possible way out of it, you'll turn to Amazon. Amazon will give me happiness. They'll just send it to me in a nice brown box and I'll be happy. And that's exactly what they're doing. And it's obvious once you think about it. All you have to do is think about it. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just Buck D. What's up, Bucky? Anybody else sneaking here on me? Any new people that I haven't said hi to yet? LJ's always dropping cool stuff in the comments. Along with Tripwire, Laic, of course, Vintage, Metal Gear Punisher. I appreciate all of y'all. Stephanie. Oh, the global dollar. Yeah, I honestly hope that doesn't happen in my lifetime, Stephanie. That's just, no. I'm against globalism. I'm just completely against it. It's not good. It's not, we can see what this whole globalist economy has done to us. Sent all of our jobs overseas. So everything's being created as cheaply as possible by basically slave labor over there in a country that has different laws than us, and they can treat their people how they want, you know what I mean? Treat their laborers how they want, work them 18, 20 hours a day in this shit, have suicide nets outside their buildings and all this weird shit. So just that is, that one example tells you how bad globalism is for humanity, for the common person. Yeah, globalism is great for the globalists, for the, the ultra rich. Yeah, it's fantastic. Hell yeah. One day, if they keep going, they'll be able to, fly their, $500 million jet around without seeing all of the people scuttling around down on the surface of the earth. They won't have to look at us anymore because they've gotten rid of all of us. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, all right, Vintage. No problem. Oh, all right, LJ. No problem, buddy. Yeah, we can be a little tardy. Yeah, I probably do. I did a while back, but it's been a year or so, maybe almost a year, Stephanie, since I did a show on globalism. So yeah, I might do that. Yeah, do another one. But yeah, that whole thing just bothers me. But that's the one thing, like, you hear me sometimes I'll come down on, Alex Jones for his fear mongering and stuff. But he's right about the globalism. That's a threat to humanity. And that's one of the reasons I watch him once in a while, because he's, he talks about globalism in this. So, yeah, he's not completely off his rocker. I'm not disparaging him for being crazy or anything like that, or being a conspiracy theory or anything. I just think the way he goes about it, I just don't completely agree with the fear mongering and stuff, You don't have to scare people into following you. You just, say the truth or say what you believe, say your opinion. You don't have to go into the, start forecasting into the future apocalypses and stuff. I mean, that's fun sometimes, but I do it, but I do it in a lighthearted way. I talk about, different apocalypses because Gen X likes apocalypses. We're weird like that. but I'm not trying to scare, Gen Z into sending me money or something by talking about the apocalypse. I'm just talking about it because we find it interesting. So I think there's a subtle difference there. All right, Stephanie, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thank you for all your comments. And I think it's about time that we wrap it up all together. I'm a little bit past time, but I don't have to go to work today, but I do have other stuff to do at home. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Again, remember that we'll do a longer video, a longer live stream tomorrow, or what is it? Tomorrow afternoon, which will be like Monday morning, I think, for Vintage and Tripwire. that time zone stuff. But that shouldn't even be a thing. If the Earth was flat, y'all should be in the same time zone as me. That's what I don't understand. Y'all are on the other side of the Earth. If y'all would get on the flat Earth thing with me, then we could all be on the same time zone. But y'all just refuse. Y'all are down there on the bottom of a ball. All right. Tough, AF, Vintage, Bucky, LJ, Stephanie. She's already gone though, ain't she? Let's see. Who else we got here? I want to say goodbye. Metal Gear. Did I say Trip yet? Tripwire. Joe P. I know I'm going to forget somebody. But anyway, if I did miss you, Miss Warren Johnson. If I did miss you, then a lot of scrolling to do. It's not because I don't appreciate you. All right. So, thank you all for showing up and spending time with me. And again, we'll do it again tomorrow evening, 4 o'clock Eastern time. I hope y'all like the new setup here with all this fancy graphics I figured out my last day off. So y'all have a good day or a good evening over there in Australia. And I'll leave you there with that. As always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.